Hello, this is Ray. K991.
Hi, Ray. Okay, guys. I think it's 6, so we'll get started here. Yeah, we got 2 videos going. If you could please, we can go like this. If you could please mute your audio. I'll do it. Okay, so I'm, see me here? I'm Brian Fields. This is John Pearl. I, along with Mike Gonzalez, have called this members meeting. Colonel Mike, can you mute yourself until you call? Thank you. Okay, so I don't know who's going to be here. We have people. So, we're getting started. I'd like to have a call of order here by voting the members present for this meeting. So, if you're here, can we call the order for the meeting? You're good? Is anybody saying anything online?
K901.
Okay, well, we'll roll call in a minute here. So, for this...
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I thought you were looking for a call order.
Yep, I will. And if you're seconding, that's great. I'd like to do a vote of the members present that we have here and get a nomination for just a chairman for the scope of this members meeting, because it is an emergency members meeting. And I would like to nominate Mr. John Pearl to be that chairman for the members meeting. So I would ask if does anybody else have a chair that they would like to have for the members meeting?
The audio's all messed up.
Hello?
Yes, can we refrain from swearing? So, I'd like to have a vote of that. Does anybody have objections to Mr. John Pearl? And does anybody have any other nominations for chair?
You made a nomination, you looking for a second?
I am looking for a second, then, if that's the case. We're not going to have anyone else on it.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Who was that?
And who was that?
Hi, this is Luke.
Hi, Lou. Okay. Can you all please mute your stuff
Okay.
until you have to speak? Okay. So in that case, I vote for Mr. Pearl, and I have a number of proxies as well that also vote for Mr. Pearl. Does everybody else vote in the affirmative for Mr. Pearl as being the chairman of this meeting?
Affirmative.
K991.
Okay. So that's taken. Mr. Chairman.
All right, to let everybody know, I'm John, W4ABC. I'll act as the interim chairman to get this off the ground. This is an emergency meeting, and the only things that'll be discussed here won't be any, per the typical meeting, old business, new business. The only business there will be emergency business, which is, after an effect, new business. So we've called the meeting to order, and we've made a nomination for an interim chairman. The interim chairman received a second and nominating vote. Looks like it's going to be me for a time until we can get this thing up and off the ground and all 4 hooves hitting the ground. We also need to work towards nominating a secretary. Is there anyone in the House or anyone listening online that would like to be secretary, or anyone have a nomination for a secretary? Need a name and a call sign.
I would like to nominate Mike Gonzalez into FSU.
All right, do we have a secretary? Mike Gonzalez, his name has come up, into FSU. Do we have a second?
I second that. W4LT.
W4LT. Okay, so we have a second. All right, we have Mike Gonzalez into FSU's name has been submitted for secretary of the group. Do we like to call?
Nominations be closed, being number one.
Yeah, we're going to call the question. And of course, one individual's asked that the nominations be closed.
It was Ray.
That was Ray. R1. All right, so we have a motion to elect into FSU as the secretary. We have a second. Let's have a roll call here if we could. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, by acclamation, you are now the secretary, Mike. And I think you're already taking notes. Is that correct, Mike? You may well have muted yourself. So, all right. Let me go down. Let me go down the list here. See where we are. We need to have the names of all the individuals present, and I think Brian, you probably have a list of proxies there.
Yes.
And we probably should find out if it's everyone's pleasure, rather than reading the names of all of the individuals in proxy, we can have Brian submit the names that he has in proxy, and if I can get somebody to make a motion that we accept the list of proxies in a second. Do I have a motion?
W4LT moves that Brian will submit those names at a later date from the proxy statements for the record.
Okay, do I have a second?
Apologies.
I second that.
Okay.
KJ4, yes.
Who was the first one?
KJ4SHL seconded it.
Okay. And I'm writing too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a second. And if we could, guys, I know there's going to be a lot of clashing here, but if we could get the names and call signs of everyone who's online with us.
Well, actually, I can read through that here.
Okay.
So let me read that. We have Ryan, KJ4SHL, attending. Buddy Morgan.
Okay.
Byron Feltz.
Okay.
I have Lou Romero.
Okay.
Lou Venzel.
Okay.
Mike Gonzalez. Mike
Okay.
Newlip, and Paul.
And the last Mike?
Mike Newlip, N-E-U-L-I-E-P. And Paul. Paul, what is your last name or your call sign?
You may still be on mute.
Okay.
And we've got Dana. And we've got Mike. And we've got me. And we've got you.
Okay. Have we missed anyone with that?
No, but Brian, I call a point of order on this. That would be for officialness. It would be great to get people's first names, last names, and call signs, so that everybody's a licensed amateur.
Okay. So who are we missing? Call
Start.
sign?
Well, start.
Start at the top.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
going to film Ryan.
KJ4SHL. Buddy Morgan. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with his call sign.
I forget it right now.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, what is your call sign? Okay. And Byron Phelps, K4SIP. And we
Lou?
have Lou Venzel.
It's Kilo Alpha 4 Echo Papa Sierra.
Okay.
Okay.
And Mike Gonzalez, N2FSU. Mike Newlip, KB9YEJ. And Paul. Paul, what is your call sign? Paul.
If Paul is listening and cannot speak, he can type it in.
Yeah.
Ray Baker, K9R1.
Okay.
Ray, that's right.
Ray Baker, K9R. He used to call the user list.
And Brian's call sign?
My call sign?
No, oh, yeah, never mind.
Okay.
Okay, so we're as complete as we can be there.
Yep. And
Giving the logistics of
very good.
online.
Okay. And we have everybody in there.
Okay, so let's move down here. And for the record, Brian, how many proxies are you holding right now?
I have 74. And I've also shared these previously with yourself, Lou, and Ryan Owens, K4SHL.
Okay. All right, so we have 4 radio amateurs present in the room. We have 74 present via proxy, and and 11 remotely. All right, guys, as I scratch down this information, and I move down my tote sheet here.
Okay, go ahead, and may I make a request to the folks that are listening in on the internet? If you're not speaking, please mute your microphone so that you're able to hear. Unmute when you want to talk, but mute your microphone. That would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you for requesting, but I have a question if I may.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of, it sounds like incorrect bit rate of audio transmissions, like chipmunks talking. Is anyone else hearing that, or is it just my poor connection here in the mountains of Colorado?
No, that's I hear it as well.
That's,
Okay, because
Yeah, we're certainly hearing it. You know. Okay, I think next on the agenda, since we've got roll call out of the way, is to get to the emergency business. And
yep.
Brian can speak to that. We need, if you could, Brian, give us the some background on that.
Okay. So. So just some background on this. We have just to go through this. So essentially, we have the FRC has operated for some time now, unfortunately, in a secretive manner and in my opinion, in violation of the laws of the state of Florida and against our articles of incorporation and against our members' interests. The current elected board has refused to work with existing members and other directors. the Secretary and Treasurer have not released financial data to anyone. The existing Secretary has no records of who is a member and who is not. Dana Rodriguez is actually using his personal PayPal account, K4LK at mac.com, email as the corporate address. And the Treasurer has refused to return inquiries and phone calls to me, has refused the same of Mr. Mike Gonzalez, and we're just trying to figure out what's actually there. So we have evidence of violation of the bylaws by the current directors, by the current president. So we also have violation of the coordination policy by the directors. And, the board, unfortunately, is only accountable to itself and believes members seeking reform are simply outsiders. I've also been accused by the board, and I'll unfortunately quote this, as being a 9-land piece of shit by board members. And, they are essentially passing and approving bylaws in violation of the Articles of Incorporation. At the Orlando meeting, the bylaws that were passed were not published prior to the meeting, and disgustingly removed all members from the corporation, which is illegal under the Articles of Incorporation. This is intended to be a members' organization, and you just can't remove members from an organization at the will of the board. So that is what I'm alleging. I also have certainly further documents and evidence to this effect, and I believe I have the concurrence of Mr. Gonzalez as well on this. So that's that, and I would ask Chair to ask if there's any board members present that would seek to refute that and give them an open forum to do so if that's the case.
Well, we can certainly open this up for discussion, so long as we can all maintain a level head. Both of the members online and the members in the room, if there's anything that you'd like to dispute, now's the time to speak on the issue. We can discuss it if you'd like. Dana, anything?
First of all, the FRC business was a separate PayPal account from day one. I was never doing any business on FRC business out of my PayPal account. Never. I even saw in acquisitions at one time that emails were being deleted. Not true. I have emails vacating in the mid-90s for FRC business.
Okay.
Well, John, I'm Mike Fletcher, current president of the FRC. Just for the record, there's a lot of allegations, a lot of things being thrown around that say we've done all these terrible things. We've worked to try to do things the right way. We've had our issues. We've been behind on coordinations. That's been caught up. And all the things that we've done have been reviewed by our legal counsel and determined that everything was done according to Florida law. The board has been running the FRC for the last several years. And the issue that we have is that in our previous membership structure, where we had 75, 80, 100 members that paid, well, what we ended up with was you had a very small concentration of people that had the voting power over the Florida Repeater Council. So, our intent at this point is to turn that back over to all the trustees. And basically, as directors from the different districts, we'll represent all the trustees in Florida. We're going to do a newsletter to all the trustees and keep them appraised of what's going on in the state. And that's it. We're going to do the best we can to try to make sure that the repeater trustees in Florida and the holders that have coordinated repeaters are represented fairly like we've done in the past. We'll never say that we haven't had problems. We've had problems. And we've been working hard to fix those problems. The allegations that have been thrown around, they're vague, there's no substance to most of them. And if there are actually things that we've done, I would appreciate if somebody would give us in writing the actual facts instead of just allegory and references and accusations, tell us the facts of what have actually been done, and we'll work to try to resolve those issues. And that's really as far as I'm willing to go at this meeting. And, you know, this is, we came over as a courtesy to present ourselves to you. If there's any specific questions that anybody has that deals with something specific, that's an issue we can answer, we'll be glad to.
All right, before we go any further, Mike, everybody that's online, were you able to hear Dana and Mike okay, or do they need to move closer? I know in the room next door to us, they're playing some videos right now, and it might be...
That's what we're hearing, okay. Well, we can hear, but if they could move closer, it would be much appreciated.
You guys want to pull a chair up here? And
Lou would like to ask a question of the current board.
Lou, the chair recognizes Lou. Go ahead, Lou.
Thank you, everybody. I would just like to ask a question of the general meeting and the folks that are here from the FRC. Is it true or is it not true that the FRC board has disbanded all the members of the FRC and re-elected themselves as the board of the FRC? I just want that fact out in the open. I want to know what it is.
Well, the board is elected every year or every other year, as it has been for the last, long as I've been involved. So there's no difference there. And unless
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. Please answer the question I'm asking, Mike. Has the board of the FRC dissolved all the members of the FRC? True or not true? That's a yes or no answer.
I will get to that momentarily. The
That's
board
a yes
has,
or no answer, Mike. Has the board dissolved all the members and re-elected itself? It's a yes or no answer.
so you're going to give me an opportunity to answer?
Of course I'll give you an opportunity to answer.
Very good. The board of directors eliminated membership at the February meeting. And we refunded all the dues that had been paid that had not been approved as memberships at that point. And that is within the board's authority under the bylaws and under the articles of incorporation. As to the re-election, yeah, we would love to have more contested races, but unfortunately, we have to beg people to be part of the board. So if there is no contested,
Wait a minute. Let's just talk about this.
if there is nothing contested, then the
Since
board.
the membership, hold on a second, Mike.
Well,
Since the board has no members, then the board doesn't exist. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
If you have an organization with no members and the only members with the board, then therefore there is no membership. There is no FRC.
We have a council of directors, and that's the way the bylaws read.
That were elected by the members, Mike. And since there are no members, there is no council.
My recommendation to you.
If there are members, Mike, that's my point. If there are members to the council, then you have a valid board because the board is elected by the members. If there are no members, then there is no council. Then there's just a bunch of guys that have gotten together and decided they're going to be FRC. Now, here's my point. Now, hear me out. Here's my point. If the FRC council wants to be a real FRC board of directors, then they must reinstate all the members and put themselves up for a vote again to be a real bona fide council within the laws of Robert's Rules of Order. You can't just get rid of members because you're elected by the members. If there are no members, there is no council. I rest my case.
Well, Counselor, I'm pleased that you have making such a proper assessment of it, but I think your next step should be to take it to court and let somebody in the Juris Department determine whether or not we have violated the law, because our attorney says we have not.
And I would like to ask the chair, if you could ask the board, who is the attorney that the board has retained? Because as vice director and our current director, I've had absolutely no response as to who that attorney would be.
No, we're not ready to disclose that at this point.
Okay, so.
Because
So therefore, this is a complete
you are, based on the bylaws, the changes that you're so well aware of, then you are not a director because there is no such thing as a vice director. Those were eliminated, and that's the end of the discussion.
Okay. Well, I will have to respect this.
But, certainly.
Anybody else online have any other questions or debate or discussion that they'd like to get off their chest?
Yes, I do. I have to continue this mention. I just want to make something. I heard previously in a statement that the board is doing the best it can. Well, the board has been doing the best it can to manage these things. That's my understanding. For the past 3.5 years, nothing has happened. Once the board dissolves the membership, I will again assume, and if you want to take it to court, it's going to be a wonderful thing. But if there are no members, there is no organization, therefore there is no board, just a bunch of guys that got together and decided to go there. So I will let it stand at that. You can talk to as many attorneys as you want, and you're going to get the right answer, because if there are no members, there is no organization. That's court law from like the 1080s in England.
The
Go ahead and look it up as much as you want,
let's
and
not
ask
go
as many
on for
attorneys
the
as you want.
statutes.
You're going to find out that that's the reason.
The directors are
We'll see
dominated
court.
by
We'll see
amateurs in their district.
Okay, so we're, I think, arguing right now, and really we should probably be working through the chair here. I would, please, as the chair, I'd like to go through a few things, because I have some evidence certainly of our current directors engaging in what I would consider conduct unbecoming of an officer of our corporation.
You got the floor.
Thank you. So, into Mr. Glenn or Mike Fletcher, I would allege that you have committed certainly conduct unbecoming an officer of the corporation in the conversation you had with me, and previously where you had been very explicit with me, and also after our Melbourne meeting, as you're leading the meeting, you gave the middle finger to Mr. Ryan Owens and myself after the meeting as you're pulling away.
Well, I'd sure like to see a video of that, because I didn't do that. I don't know if there was somebody else in the vehicle that may have, but that wasn't me.
Okay. Well, I can call Ryan to certainly attest to that. But I would say also in your role as
I
secretary.
understand. If I lost control and did, I was being yelled at across the country. So that was a highly emotional time for a lot of people.
So
Hopefully
I
we
would
can
say
move away.
also failure to fulfill the duties of secretary. So in just reviewing previous minutes, they're of quite poor quality. Glaring omissions. Certainly, as in the Orlando meeting, absolutely no motion on the votes of Director Gonzalez, who I was acting as proxy for, were recorded. And the glaring thing from everything
Okay,
is...
let me interrupt that point, because that's been made a few times. I have an email on file from Director Gonzalez that said he gave you a proxy to vote in his behalf as a member. But he clearly states in that email that he did not give you the authority to sit in his place as a board member.
I would refer you to the proxy, it speaks for itself.
Show an email myself.
So,
The written email, I think, from the director that says he did not give you that authority, I think, tracks the
I, again, would love to see that, but it doesn't matter, I have assigned proxy. And also, I would say acting in bad faith and conspiring with other directors to undermine member authority.
Could you clarify what that
I'm
is?
getting ready to do so. So conspiring to remove all members as defined in the articles of the corporation from the corporation without consent of the membership. And secondly, conspiring with former Director Lavender to report Brian Fields for computer crimes that were not, that I was being thrown under the bus for.
What took place with past Director Lavender was involving something that happened on his property. He's the one that made the complaint. He's the one that generated that, and that's a personal issue between him and whoever was involved. And we are not part of that.
You're referring of correspondence from myself to the FCC Enforcement Bureau on behalf of the Repeater Council? So you're saying you didn't do that?
Well, if we get a letter that's demanding that we've done something incorrect, certainly we can copy that.
Okay. Now on to Dana. So Dana just spectacular failed to do any coordination from January 20th to February 2016 to February 2017. It's over a year.
We've acknowledged that. We've admitted that we've been behind. We got way
I've been
behind.
very busy, working.
People out of the
And
country.
we've gone to you and given you the
jobs.
opportunity to resign, as what you probably should do.
Brian, had you and Mr. Gonzalez, who was on the board and attended one of the last 5 meetings, had Mike Gonzalez come to the board with some of these issues and brought them to the board, he would have certainly been heard and we could have discussed those. But when you come to a
I've
board,
brought them to
you
the board
brought
before.
them,
Yes.
or you've attempted to bring them, but you didn't have a seat on the board to make that representation, and you
I'm a
didn't
member
have
of the
proper
corporation.
representation. And when you come and start yelling at the
So-
board, how do you expect them to respond? So there was
So-
a board member that could have brought those questions to the board, and they would have been answered.
Okay, so Mr. Dana, maintaining he's not a director and cannot vote, but then voting on video with the board is also listed as a director.
I'm not listed as a director, so if I stuck my hand up, it was in total error on my behalf. I'm not a director, I'm not allowed to vote.
And I again say using personal accounts for FRC business, that's my allegation.
Never.
That's been reviewed.
Never.
and I didn't.
Since day one, it was a separate
If you,
account.
if you open up a
Yeah,
PayPal account in a business name, in your business name, your name's gonna have to be on.
My
the
name is
PayPal
still
account.
on it.
Changing the requirements for coordination without justification or board approval.
And what requirements did you
So-
change?
The fact that I asked for streets closing the computer location.
It's not part of the coordination requirements.
All it
Well,
is
but
a
it's-
simple request.
It's
to
been on the
verify-
application for.
I'm not here to
20
debate
years.
this, gentlemen.
No, that's exactly what we're doing.
Wait a
So-
minute, you're debating it. With a level head.
I'm putting this out there also. So, I'm wanting to figure it not be as loud here in the library. Douglas Stewart, his failure as a treasurer to comply with member requests. He's never once returned a request that I've given him for detailed financial information about the corporation.
At the advice of our attorney, we did not respond.
Okay. Refusal to provide information to other directors as requested. He's refused to respond to Director Gonzalez
At
for
the
his.
advice of our attorney, we did not respond.
Well, wouldn't that attorney, if I could ask, wouldn't an attorney retained by the board also represent the interests of the directors?
Well,
Or are you saying they only represent you?
not necessarily when that particular director is part of an organization, has filed a charter with the state of Florida as a competing organization, and has improperly given information out to non-directors, and, passed out copies of the database, which, he's not acted in good faith as a board member.
Okay, so finally, Mr. James Dool, conspiring to subvert member representation at the Orlando meeting by noting the supposed fire code issue, then waiting 30 minutes to bring it up when it was convenient. He was even so far as to call the police. From research I've been able to do, Mr. Dool is not a licensed fire inspector, is not legally qualified to make such a judgment in the absence of a posted limit.
I don't have all the details on that. You would have to refer that to the people that own the building, because that's what I understood that came from.
So, in general, arrogance of working with the membership. The board certainly views the members, in my opinion, as an us versus them, as evidenced by letters from the president and the directors. The directors referring to me as a 9-lamb piece of shit, and to do me right, referring to others as a-hole hams. Conduct unbecoming of officers of a representative board, such as the Florida Repeater Council, and finally, possessing no vision for fixing the organization is evidenced by ongoing issues.
What are those ongoing issues?
What I've stated previously.
What
What-
are the
who called you
ongoing
an A-hole
issues
piece of
today?
shit?
That,
Where did that come from?
I have that in here as well. That was
The
my
what?
Director Lavender.
I just don't like ongoing accusations. I just don't.
I have it in writing if you want to see it. Do you want to see it?
No, not really.
Okay.
But he is no longer a director.
So that's basically what I'm putting forward, and I would like to call for a vote of these findings.
Would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion and call for a vote of these findings.
All right, before you do that, let's hang on a minute, because we're still in a discussion phase
Okay.
here. Does anybody online or in the room here wish to discuss anything else? Anything else you'd like to bring up that's pertinent to this emergency meeting?
John, I would like to know what is deficient with the FRC at this point? The fact that we're not doing our duties, what is it that we're not
And
performing?
what did we not do in response to Director Gonzalez?
We didn't send him, we didn't answer the demands for him to have full access to the database.
You haven't given any information that's been requested that a normal member should be able to request from their organization.
As you stated,
Well, the
we don't
database.
want to have members.
No, of the
Give you the
membership.
database.
I have a copy of the data.
Yeah, I know you do, it's an old copy.
But Dana, it
So,
hasn't been updated.
what is the status?
I'm ready to put out a new version.
What is the status, what is wrong with the FRC
Tell us
today?
what we're gonna do.
I think
Because we've
this
fixed a
should
lot
be
of issues.
No, it hasn't been fixed.
Why
There's
hasn't it been
absolutely
fixed?
no provision made for fixing this.
For
We
fixing
have
what?
the dysfunction at the FRC. You
What
have
is
you
the
have an
dysfunction?
organization that
We have coordination
when people-
applications coming in, we process them, and we issue them. And we're somewhere around 30 days, which was our goal. That's our time frame right now.
My hand up
So-
to make a comment.
So what is the problem with the FRC?
I have the problem. W4LP has the problem. May I have the floor?
Go ahead, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. The problem with the FRC is it's an organization with no members. Therefore, it does not exist. I rest my case.
Well,
My issues are of corporate governance. The general ongoing, when somebody makes a question of the FRC and of the members, or of the members of the board for information, they're met with utter contempt. And laughably so that they would actually vote out all the members. I mean,
If you got any specific, like I said, we want specifics. Why-
Well, I'm being very
why-
specific
How are
here.
we treating the members with contempt?
I don't know how I can be any worse. Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna have to defer to you on this.
Well,
When somebody asks for coordination, do we tell them to go pound sand somewhere?
we gave you guys the courtesy, we posted this meeting, even though it's not officially called, there wasn't sufficient time for, even in all the other bylaws. You can't, we have 30 days requirement to post a meeting. So, but we went ahead and posted it, and we brought ourselves here to try to answer the questions and help you guys and understand what the problems are if they're either continuing, so we can try to resolve them. Other than legal issue, I guess we'll have to go to court over that.
Have you read anything that I've put out about anything? I mean, I think we've had,
And most of those issues have all been resolved. We've already.
May I hold my hand up again?
Yes, go ahead.
Get another question.
Go ahead, the floor recognizes you.
Okay, members of the FRC board who are there. The issue that, how you can resolve all these problems that you have right now, the easiest way and the way that would satisfy all members is for you to reinstate all the members that you got rid of.
Okay, well, that's the third time you've stated that. Thank you.
Hold
We
on, I
understand.
got the floor. If you reinstate all the members that you arbitrarily got rid of, then you are beginning the process of being able to resolve all the issues of the board. If you do not have members, you don't exist. It's really that simple.
Where is that written?
That's, we have a
Can you
legal
share that
argument
with us?
there, Lou, so we're gonna have to figure that one
Let's
out.
see it in writing.
If you don't have members, I mean, part of this is a voluntary issue. This isn't a business.
Our little corporation you got up there, Florida
It's
website.
nothing like that. It's a voluntary thing by amateur radio operators, and it's done. The FRC belongs to the members. You're
Well-
doing a service for the membership.
We're doing a service for the amateurs in Florida, not members.
If you don't have any members, you do not exist.
All right,
It's
well-
that simple.
We're serving
We
the
will-
amateurs of Florida, not the members of some fictitious organization.
We will agenda the item about reinstating membership at our next board meeting.
Until such a point that you reinstate members, Mike, you don't exist.
Well, okay, that's your opinion, Lou, and, our attorney's opinion is different.
Well, but you're not a corporation, Mike. Your reason for existence is for all of us.
Lou, I can't debate the law with you. I'm not an attorney. I didn't know you were.
For members. If there
But-
are no members, there is no organization. It's that
Okay, well,
simple.
you've stated that several times, and we will look into that with the lawyer.
Very good. I hope you did.
Okay, Lou, are you done right now for the moment?
Well, for the moment I am. That's the only point I've got, but I'll keep making it.
Okay.
Maybe it'll get through their heads.
Okay, understood. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add?
This is Lynn, KA4 EPS. If
Go ahead.
I could ask you a question. I'd just like to understand why was the membership voided or whatever? Why did that occur? I never did understand that or get the rationale behind that.
Because a small number of members represented a small number of paid members that paid their $10, provided representation for all the repeater owners in the state of Florida, and we'd rather have all the trustees be part of that, and we're working on ways to bring that to be. So instead of the people that paid $10, that anybody that has a coordination would have some say in the directions the FRC goes in their coordination.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions out there in the ether? All right, if there's no more discussion, we're going to close the discussion phase. And a motion is always in order. I see Brian chomping at the bit here like he wants to make a motion. Brian, you have a motion that you'd like to make?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that the members call for a censure of the board of directors with finding of these facts that I have stated and have presented, and the general consensus of the board being beholden only to itself. So I would put forward a motion that we censure the board with these facts.
So Brian has made a motion to censure the board. Do we have a second?
Sorry, who was that? Can you please type it? I cannot hear you.
It's Mike Gonzalez who's trying to make that motion, or that second. I don't think, I think he's having money in the show.
Okay. Mike?
Just have that call you on the cell phone.
Sorry, Mike, you're not making it.
That's what I was thinking, I'm not in a position to make that.
Does somebody else want to second it?
There's a motion on the floor to censure the board. Is there a second on the motion? Anyone having to unmute their mics? Do so now.
Okay.
Mike just typed his motion.
Yeah, you can see it if you want. Mike just said he seconds the motion.
Okay,
He's having some audio issues.
all right. Okay. Mike Gonzalez seconded the motion to censure the board. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Record my proxies for that as well.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, I'm going to give it a minute, see if there's any more ayes, and then I'll ask for the nays. In case folks are unmuting mics. All right, are there any opposed? Motion carries. Unless somebody comes dribbling in here, the motion carries.
Okay.
May I ask again a point of order?
Certainly.
We have several guests here. Nobody seems to be voting yea or nay. Are those abstentions?
Well, under Robert's Rules of Order, you generally don't count abstentions unless somebody specifically calls it out.
Okay, what I'm trying to understand here, that there's several other people representing the FRC, and I hear nothing from them, aye or not, or nay, and I'm wondering if those are abstentions.
There's nothing to abstain.
That's exactly what I wanted you to say. Thank you. I rest.
Okay, we've recorded the vote. Have you got another motion that you'd like to make?
Yeah, I would like to propose that the way that we can move forward as an organization would be to vote to call a constitutional convention under Robert's Rules of Order. And if it would please the chair, I can explain this further.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So this would mean that we're essentially voting the current board out. We're electing a new board to take the place of the current board. And we're working to pull a new constitutional committee to redraw bylaws together. And this would require a 2/3 vote of the members. So that's what I would propose as to fix this. And I would put that to the chair and open that up for any discussion if there's questions on that.
Okay, the motion on the floor is to convene a constitutional convention. Is there any discussion on this? All right, seeing and hearing none, I'll ask for a second. Do we have a second on the convening of a constitutional convention?
You have a second from Mike Gonzalez.
Mike Gonzalez, got you recorded. All right, we'll ask for a show of hands. How many are in favor of convening a constitutional convention? Signify by saying aye.
Aye. I'd also remind proxies on that.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any other ayes? All right, any opposed? Any in opposition? All right, the ayes have it.
Okay, wait a minute. Do we also then assume that the representatives of the existing board are abstaining or feel that there is no subject matter here that they need to address? Please signify.
Because this meeting does not meet the notice requirements, they're not participating in that respect.
Oh, so you're not participating, okay. Let the record show that the existing board chooses not to participate in this meeting.
I didn't think we were allowed.
We're not participating in any
Remember,
board.
right?
We're not
Well,
participating.
Members are allowed, right?
All right, let's let the chairman run the meeting instead of.
Okay, the floor is always open
So,
for, I think you've probably got another one.
yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I could ask, I would like to, as part of this, we are forced now to pick a new board to run the corporation until such time as we can have a bylaw committee put together and to redraw bylaws. I would also add bylaws that are inclusive of our membership. And I would nominate yourself, John Corp, W4ABC, as chairman, Mike Gonzalez, N2FSU, as the director, Ryan Owens, KJ4SHL, as the director, Mr. Lou Romero, W4LT, as a director, and myself, Brian Fields, W9CR, as a director. That's my motion I would put forward to have that election.
All right, would these positions be interim positions?
These would be interim until such time as we can have a working bylaws written, voted on by the membership, and then have elections under those bylaws. This board would be tasked only with the preservation of the organization and of reconstituting the bylaws so that it is fixed basically to what the board members.
Okay, so encapsulate it for me in as few words as possible.
So this board would be interim until such time as we can elect a board under the new bylaws, which need to be written by
Okay, so the motion, as I understand it, is to formulate a new interim board, and you've named the individuals, W4ABC, me as the chairman, Mike Gonzalez, N2FSU as director, Ryan Owens, KJ4 SHL as director, Lou Romero, W4LT as director, and Brian Fields, W9CR as director, and to reformulate the bylaws. That pretty much encapsulate it?
That does encapsulate it. Please ask me to put it to second if you could.
All right. Do we have a second on the motion? Do we have a second to the motion?
Mike Gonzalez is second.
Mike Gonzalez is second. Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the question? Any discussion on choosing an interim board with the named individuals and the reformulation of the bylaws? Any discussion?
I just want to confirm it is an interim board. I just have a few audio issues here, so I wanted to Brian KJ for it. I wanted to make sure it's an interim board that will be officially voted in.
Yes, that is correct, an interim board. Yes, that's correct. Okay. Any discussion on this? All right. Not hearing any objections or discussion on this. We'll take this to a vote. All in favor of choosing a new interim board and reformatting or formulating the bylaws signify by saying aye.
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 Mike Gonzalez is voted aye as well.
Aye.
Okay, last chance. Any further in the aye column? All right. Any opposed? Any opposition? Any opposed? All right. Seeing and hearing none, motion passes.
Okay, the assumption is also that the existing board is either abstaining or feeling that this particular vote for the record is not applicable because of the methods they discussed before. Let the record show that.
I would further like to motion as well that we recorded the vote as members voting for aye, calling for division on it.
How many?
I represent 75 votes.
75, and I think there were probably
1, 2, 3.
6 or 7.
We have 7 on voting.
You've got how many proxies again?
Including myself, I represent 75. So 74 proxies.
Okay. All right, moving on. Motion is always in order. You have another motion you'd like to make?
Well, this is concerning the new elected board now. I would like to do a couple things. A motion to empower the board to update the registered agent from Dana Rodriguez to Johnny Bardini, and to update and the list of officers and board members with the state. Further, I would motion that we update the Articles of Incorporation with the following clause, if I could read that clause. Amendment 1, the amendment of these Articles of Incorporation shall require two-thirds majority vote of the membership, and this is a members' organization. The members shall have all rights under the law to question any business of the corporation and any actions of the board. Members may vote by a 2/3 majority to remove the current board and bylaws at any time, i.e. to call a constitutional convention. So that is what I would make one motion there, and I have a couple other ones just about preserving corporate assets and auditing. And if you want me to do those as separate motions. I mean, they are board motions. So.
Yeah, we've got it encapsulated here.
Okay.
You can put it back out to the membership if there's, in a written form. If there's any objection to it at the time, we can clean it up, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's a motion on the floor, and I'm going to read this from this sheet here, to amend the filing with the state of Florida to update the registered agent as Johnny Barty. You might tell us who that is.
Johnny Bardeen is a friend of mine, also does legal representation for me.
Okay, and to update the service address to him.
Yes.
Okay, and further, motion to update and remove the listed officers and board members with the state.
Yes.
All right, we have any discussion on this? First, I should ask, have we got a second before we go to discussion? Is there a second?
Mike Gonzalez is seconded.
Okay.
Yes.
Excuse me while I'm writing, gentlemen. Okay, so we've got a second. Is there any discussion? Or has anybody got a question for anybody here as to what we're talking about? Any clarification from Brian that you might need? Anybody have a question?
No, but before we proceed to the vote to save time, I would like to find out, well, no, let's forget it. Continue. I'll just make my same motion to the end.
All right, any further discussion? All right, so the motion on the floor is to empower the board to amend the filings with the state of Florida. Motion to update the registered agent to Johnny Barty. Update the service address to that of his. A motion to, was part of that same motion, is to update and remove the listed officers and board members with the state. I think that about covers it, Brian?
Yeah, that's sufficient encapsulates, yes.
Okay. We've got a motion, we've got a second, and we'll now vote on this if we could. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any more ayes? Any more ayes? All right. All opposed? Signify by saying nay. All opposed? Anyone opposed? All right, the motion passes.
And we will assume also that the existing members of the SRC that are present that are not voting are either abstaining or appealing this entire thing. And let the record show that.
The floor is open to motions.
Sure, I would motion a couple other things. That this is a two-part motion, actually. Motion that the board is to preserve the assets of the corporation. No spending shall be authorized without a detailed accounting and unanimous consent of the board. That's an operation of the interim board. Secondly, I would task the board with investigating the finances and management of the corporation via either an outside audit committee or forensic accountant. Again, this is something that the board should take up. I'm not looking to make a decision on who that should be at this time. I just want to make it task to the board. And then second and third to that motion is to make notice and preserve the corporate assets, intellectual property of the Florida Repeater Council that may be held by any prior board members or employees of the Florida Repeater Council. That's the entirety of my motion.
Well, that was a mouthful.
Yeah. I can break that up. Sure. So.
Yeah, you want to give it to me again more slowly, and I'll see if I can scratch it out.
Well, let's do this. Make one motion to preserve the assets of the corporation.
Okay.
Authorize no spending without a detailed accounting and unanimous consent of the board.
Authorize no spending.
Without unanimous consent of the elected board.
Okay. Unanimous consent of board.
And then investigate, task the board to investigate the finances of the corporation via either an audit committee or outside forensic accountant. At the board's discretion, that's something I want the board to task with, but we're not going to resolve at this meeting.
By audit committee or
Outside accountant.
okay.
And the third part of that is that we send appropriate notice to the prior board members, letting them know to preserve any property, whether financial, tangible, or intellectual property of the FRC, and provide for its turnover to the current board of the FRC.
Did you say intellectual? I'm a slow writer.
Intellectual property, IP. I don't know, Glenn was smiling, so I thought I should smile back.
Intellectual property.
Yes.
Okay, as I have it, motion is on the floor for the board the existing board to preserve all assets, authorize no spending without unanimous consent of the board, investigate finances by an audit committee or an outside accountant, and send notice to, did you say prior board members?
Prior board members or employees of the FRC.
All right, prior board members or employees. To preserve all intellectual property. All right, and we got a second.
I second that motion, Brian.
Thank you, we have a second. So we have a motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion on this issue. Any discussion? Is it clear as mud to everybody? Everybody understand the motion? Okay. Sounds like everybody's quiet. They all understand it. Okay, so the motion again is the board to preserve the assets, authorize no spending without unanimous consent of the board, investigate finances by audit committee or an outside accountant, send notice to prior board members or employees to preserve intellectual property. We have a motion and a second. So if we could, we'll take this to a vote. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any more ayes? Any more ayes? Okay, all opposed signify by saying nay. All opposed? Anyone opposed, signify by saying nay. All right, the ayes have it, the motion passes.
And again, existing members of the council have either abstained or decided that this is not a correct procedure. Let the record show.
Okay,
It's all on video.
it is. I would make a motion to adjourn as we have no other emergency business to conduct.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Oh, second.
We have a second. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
Let's hope things get done.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, former board members.
Joyce.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Let's check.
Gentlemen, I'm going to end video and close this session, okay?
Very good.
Okay.
So long, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for arranging the WebEx.
Okay, bye, guys. Okay. We're all off. I'm going to shut this one off now, too.